Okay, this is practice problem number 2 for chapter 22, and this is in regards to the preparation of a direct materials budget. And so it looks like here in the scenario, the company budgets production of 450,000, let's see, electric panels. The electric panels are going to be classified as units of production. And it looks like the budget of the 450,000 units for the second quarter. Then 520,000 of the electric panels, so of the units, is budgeted for the third quarter. It says each panel requires 0.80 pound of direct material at a cost of $1.70 per pound. And then it says the company aims to end each quarter with the ending inventory of this material equal to 20% of the next quarter's budgeted materials requirements. So that sentence there is very important to note because we are going to have to include the 20% there of the next quarter's budgeted materials requirement for the second quarter. Then it says beginning inventory of this material is 72,000 pounds. We're also going to have to take that into consideration in the second quarter. And so we're given or provided all of the information that is needed to prepare a direct materials budget. And we're only doing it for the second quarter, not the third quarter. But we need the information that is provided to us from the third quarter in order to completely prepare the budget for the second quarter. All right, so second quarter it is. So the first thing we need to bring in is the number of units that needs to be produced. So I'm going to put on here units to produce, and that's going to be 450,000 units. And that's provided to us, that is budgeted for the second quarter. So I'm going to put on here units so that we understand that it's units that we have to complete. Now it says here that each panel, which means that this is telling you that each unit requires 0.80 pound of direct material. So we can stop right there. We don't need to read on. This lets us know that in order to produce 450,000 units, we need to then convert those units into pound in order to figure out how many pounds are needed in order to produce the X number of units. So next thing I'm going to do is bring in the 0.80 pound of direct material. So I'm going to put on here materials required per unit. And that's going to be 0.80 pounds. So we're going to have to multiply 0.80 pounds by the 450,000 units in order for us to know how many pounds are needed in order to produce 450,000 units. Okay, so this is going to give us, let's see, well, I'm jumping ahead of myself. So materials needed for production, which are going to be converted into pounds, it's going to be 360,000 pounds. All right. Now we're going to have to add the desired ending inventory, specifically materials inventory. What this does, it gives us a bit of a buffer as a business. So if we need, let's just say 360,000 pounds of, 360,000 pounds in order to produce 450,000 units for the second quarter, then we need to think ahead, because maybe we need a little bit more pounds or more, units. Maybe we will be producing more units than 450,000 units. 450,000 units is just an estimate. So it's possible that the company would actually produce 460,000 units or, 500,000 units, 100 more than 450,000 or 100,000 more. That's possible. So what the company wants to do, because this is a budget, they want to provide a little bit of a buffer, a cushion, just in case they produce more than 450,000 units, which means that the pounds is needed is going to be more than 360,000. So this is what the desired ending materials inventory is for. They've came up with, based on the information that's provided to us, that the desired, ending inventory for the quarter is going to be, let's see, equal to 20% of next quarter's budgeted materials requirements, which is why they gave us the budgeted units for the third quarter, so that way we can go ahead and do that estimation there or calculation. So in order to add in, because we're going to be adding the desired ending materials inventory, we're going to take 520,000. That's going to be our units. And this is coming from the third quarter, because it tells us that the company aims to end each quarter with an ending inventory of this material equal to 20% of next quarter's budgeted materials requirements. Okay, so we got to also convert these units into pounds as well. So we're going to multiply the 520,000 units by 0.80 pounds. That's how many pounds it is per pound, 0.80, in order to make a unit. Okay, and let me do the math here. So 0.80 multiplied by 520,000 units, that gives us 416,000 pounds. So the company doesn't need all of that, according to the information that's provided to us. They just need 20% of that. Again, it provides them a little bit of a cushion, all right, just in case they produce more than 450,000 units. So 416,000 pounds, we're going to apply only 20% to it. And that's going to give us 83,200 pounds. Let's make sure my math is correct. Yeah. So this 83,200, that's in pounds. So now we're going to go ahead and bring that amount over and just add it to the 360,000. Okay, so now our total materials required for the production is going to be 443,200 pounds. Okay. Now, the next thing we need to do is include what's already in the inventory account, specifically in the direct materials inventory account, because the company has some pounds currently in the inventory account. So they want to consider that as well. So this means that they're going to now subtract the total materials required of 443,200 pounds by what's actually already included in the beginning inventory or in inventory in the materials account. So they're going to subtract beginning materials inventory. In this case, they gave us the number here of 72,000. We're just going to go ahead and subtract out 72,000 pounds. They already have that. And that's going to give us our materials that needs to be purchased in pounds of 371,200. Okay, so the materials required are 443,200. That's what what is required for them to have. But they already have 72,000 in their inventory account for direct materials. So what is needed to be purchased is going to be 371,200 by subtracting out what's already in inventory by what is required for production. Now the next thing to do is to include the materials cost per pound. So they gave it to us. The material cost per pound is going to be $1.70. Okay, so we're just going to include that in there. Materials cost per pound. Okay, so I like saying we instead of me because this is a recording of a class. So I'm pretending like you all are with me right now. So this is going to be $1.70 per pound. And we're going to have to multiply this by the 371,200 pounds. So our total cost of direct materials purchase is going to be $631,040. So what we did here is converted the pounds into now dollars.